What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 164, and we start today's episode off by seeing that Liverpool aren't going to match the bid for Laporta that we asked for right at the end of the last episode. That centre-back is going nowhere, and also Star Rene coming for Lucas Digne and say they'll give us £11 million for our left-back, but we say we want £40 million, because quite frankly, as Star Rene come back and say no chance, obviously, there's no reason to get rid of him, even though Kurzawa is probably going to be our first choice left-back this year. If he ever gets an injury or a suspension or he's in bad form, Lucas Digne, one rating lower, he's right back into the first team, so no need to sell him. He seems happy here, and that's the most important thing. And also Anthony does join the club as well for £10 million plus that random goalkeeper who was a Deadwood player. 76 overall, 23 years old, and again a bit of an overspend, no one's going to deny that, but quite frankly, even though we are spending £2.75 million more for this player that's the same overall as Depreville was, as we mentioned in the last episode, Depreville, quite frankly, there's very little to suggest that he's going to repeat what he did last year and be top goal scorer in Ligue 1. So I'd rather have Anthony, who I know does have potential, and we'll go with that. Also, Aziz Thiam is going to leave the club on a season-long loan, and we'll see what he looks like after the end of this season, because he could still have a future here, but Herbran is not going to have much of a future here, so we accept the bid that comes in for him, and it looks like he is on his way out of the club. Also, a bid for Marco Verratti from Roma. We want £50 million for our CM, who's 85 overall, and that's probably not going to happen. And as you can see, following that, Herbran has indeed gone to Stade Rennais for £2.5 million, so he was very rarely going to get much game time here. Another one of those Deadwood players, there's no need for him, so we may as well cash in on him right now. And that's been the focus for this summer transfer window. Yes, we've signed Ashton Gutz, yes, we've signed Kurzawa, yes, we've signed Anthony, but quite frankly, the business in this summer transfer window was not about the players we'd bring in, but the players we would sell. So I'm glad that we've been managing to do some of those deals. I mean, seriously, so many players were Deadwood players when we arrived here at Paris Saint-Germain. I thought it would take a very, very long time to get most of them out, and you know, this is the second transfer window we've got, and we've got most of them out of the club. As you can see, we come into a squad report here as we're just about to start the season off here with Paris Saint-Germain. Interestingly enough, you may have noticed, no pre-season friendlies. Don't know why exactly. But yeah, you can see the team here. Yes, there's still a few Deadwood players we do want to shift on. Alex Bamberg, one of this centre-back here, doesn't look too bad as he's only 21 years old, but I don't think he's going to do too much for us. He probably will get sold eventually. But for the most part, as you look at the team now, it's just full of very decent players, and the ones that aren't that decent are young players with potential. And it's looking good. You know, I'm hoping to sell on in this summer transfer window for a few £1 million. Hopefully that will happen. This guy here, Jan Laborda, I need to sell, or else I'll get him, or also just release him from his contract. But it's looking good. The team has already been transformed massively. If you remember when we joined the club, yes, there were still a lot of first team world-class players here, which there still are, obviously. And this is the formation I'll be running with for this start of the season, and how it will probably end up staying for the season. As you can see, Savanier is going to be in the first team now in the holding midfield slot. But when you think about how many players there were like tons more players here than there are right now, and most of them were like 70, 60 overall players who were never going to get in the first team. We've done a really good job, in my opinion, to completely transform the side, so I'm very pleased with what we've done so far. Obviously still a few weeks to go in the summer transfer window, and a couple more players to be sold, and hopefully going to bring in one or two more targets as well. But for the most part, happy with what we've done, and we just need to continue what we're doing right now, and we will have a very successful transfer window. And we take on Marseille for the first and only game of today's episode here in the Trophy Champions, or Trophy des Champions, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, so let's just call it the French Community Shield. Still taking on Marseille in the French Community Shield. Obviously the first competitive game of the season, and also another chance for us to win a trophy we haven't won before on YouTube. So coming into this game, you know, in the Community Shields in my regular career modes, usually I rest quite a few players and try some fringe players in the game, but in this one it was a very strong team, because Marseille, of course, our rivals with PSG, and the fact I've never won this trophy before, it is something I really did want to, you know, get straight away and as soon as possible. And just 5 minutes in, it showed the first team quality. Hazard's shot going through the legs of Mandanda and into the back of the net after Lacazette's attempt was parried by the goalkeeper. We make it 1-0 early on in this game, and you know, there's no reason why Marseille couldn't get themselves back into the game. But when you score so early on in, you know, this is, you know, would you call it a final? I guess you could if you want, but a big game like this, regardless, you know, for in terms of winning a trophy, it was just the perfect motivation. Just already in front, the away side will be deflated, or the opposition will be deflated. So a great start for us, and Hazard gets the goal. So 1-0 to us. We then went close a few minutes later, but the shot was deflected and turned behind for a corner. But in the 31st minute here, Ayew tries to cross the ball in and gets tackled by Guts. He does succeed eventually though. Imbula flicks it back, and what a miss that is by Falvin, who was actually a transfer target of mine this summer. I've actually owned the guy before on Ultimate Team, and he's really good. 4-star skills, and he can play in a variety of positions on career mode as well. And I've been told he does grow pretty nicely too, so wouldn't mind getting the guy, but that was a very bad miss there, and it was still 1-0. But in the 45th minute here, some nice passing sees Marseille get themselves forward with a low sliding the ball forward, and eventually the free ball comes in towards Batshuayi, and the Belgian striker turns it past Lloris and does equalise for Marseille. So Marseille back on level terms here, and to be honest, it was quite a frustrating first half because I kept giving the ball away quite a lot, and I talked about possession football with the AI before, and I've always said just let them have the ball, but you still need to defend. You still need to make sure that you're not dragging centre backs forward to the halfway line or doing anything stupid like I did there. As the ball got played forward, Batshuayi had a really simple finish, and the Belgian striker did oblige. So Marseille 1, Paris Saint-Germain 1, and unfortunately for us, our lead is gone on the stroke of half time. However, in the 48th minute here, Guts gives the ball towards Kevin Savanier, and what a goal this would have been. How unlucky is that by our young midfielder? The shot goes just over the bar and onto the roof of the net. What a goal it would have been by Kevin Savanier. Forget goal of the season, that surely would have been one of the goals of the series. Unfortunately for us, though, it did hit the roof of the net and go behind for a goal kick. So still 1-1. In the 64th minute, though, Lacazette's through again here, and a great chance to give us the lead once again. Lacazette shoots, but Mandanda makes a very good save. So still Marseille 1, PSG 1. And 13 minutes before the end, Marseille come forward again, but as Ndumbu gets challenged by Guts here, we give it back towards Hugo Lloris, and there's no panic. We pass the ball out from the back. Kevin Savanier finds Eden Hazard. Hazard plays the ball forward towards Lacazette down the left-hand side. A great chance to make it 2-1. He's round the last man. Can he finish? Unfortunately not. I completely messed that up, and the shot was simply saved by Mandanda. So still 1-1 in this game. It looked as though the game was going to go the distance. However, in the 87th minute, as Niang roulettes around his man, it's a great chance to make it 2-1 here, as he keeps on going down the right-hand side, gets tugged by the defender, gets taken down, and the referee gives a penalty. So once Niang got past his man with the roulette, he's got so much pace, no one was ever going to catch him. And in the end, the Marseille player has absolutely no decision other than to just pull him to the ground and at least give Mandanda a chance of saving the penalty, because Niang was probably going to go on and score. So definite penalty there, and a great chance to make it 1-1. And Hazard, our usual penalty taker, got taken off straight after the penalty was given. Probably should have waited for the substitution, waited a few seconds before making that substitution. Regardless, penalty to us. Lacazette is going to stand up and take it. Can he score and make it Marseille 1, PSG 2 with the clock ticking down with the game looking like it would go the distance? Yes, he could. Mandanda stands down the middle, and Lacazette blasts it to Mandanda's right hand side and Lacazette's left, and it's Marseille 1, PSG 2. So we win the game with a minute on the clock before added on time. It's 2-1 to PSG, and we did play better than Marseille in this game. There's no doubt about it. We probably did deserve to get the win regardless. Just quite frankly, my finishing was really poor. I messed up on quite a few key attempts, and Lacazette does make it 2-1 there, and the game is going to be ours. So Marseille 1, PSG 2, definite penalty, and Lacazette scores it to make it 2-1. So good finish by Lacazette, who just looks so rejuvenated since we came into PSG and put him in the first team. He is going to be a starting striker for us this year, with Higuain dropping to the bench, and he looks like a real deadly striker for us. So 2-1 here, and in the 90th minute it could have been 3-1. Anthony off the bench here, making his debut for Paris Saint-Germain, cutting past JJ, getting himself inside and shooting, but the goalkeeper makes a good save, and it's cleared away by Mendy. But that was the final piece of action in the game. It does finish Marseille 1, Paris Saint-Germain 2. So we win the Trophy Champion, or the French Community Shield, for the first time in YouTube, and we're very, very happy with that. Lacazette's penalty with a minute to spare does seal it, and yeah, we deserve to win the trophy anyway. So it wasn't a case of just getting lucky and getting bailed out in the final couple of minutes. Now we deserve to win it anyway, and had my finishing better, we probably would have won it by a couple of clear goals. Still, Marseille 1, PSG 2, and again another trophy to add to our collection. And again, it may not be the most coveted of trophies. It may not be something we'll look back on when this series is over and say, oh, that was the highlight of the series, but it's still something. It's still silverware. It's still silverware, and it's still nice to win. So final score, Marseille 1, PSG 2, and we're very happy with another trophy in the bag. And Higuain was disappointed not to start that game, but he's 31 years old now. I've not really been too convinced by him, despite his very high rating. So looks like he's going to have to settle for a place on the bench in his team, unless he wants to go and play somewhere else. Still following that, we offered a contract to Marquinhos, who has been banging on of late. He wants a new deal. He doesn't want a wage increase, which is bizarre, but he just wants an extension, which rarely ever happens, but fair enough. And also, Roma come back to us regarding Verratti, and they're not going to go higher than £25.5 million. Quite frankly, he's worth lots more than that, so that's just not going to happen. We're not going to sell him for that fee when he's good enough to play in the first team right now. So £35 million, yeah, that would be fine, but nothing lower than that. Regardless, we see the media have tipped us to finish second in the league, and also the final piece of business you'll see is Marquinhos accepted his contract. But that does end the episode, so thank you very much for watching, guys. I really do hope you have enjoyed this episode of Career Mode. If you have enjoyed the episode, then please do leave a like, as it is much appreciated, and it really, really does help my channel out. And I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon. We will be beginning Ligue 1 for the first time fully with Paris Saint-Germain.